Welcome to our podcast, Getting Down to Business. I'm Jill Brown, academic and career advisor with the Muma College of Business.
And I'm Ashley Curtis, Assistant Director for the Bishop Center for Ethical Leadership. Jill, I am so excited. We have with us today Professor Nikki Stowell.
And some of our listeners may already know you from business law classes. You also teach in the MBA program some legal classes. Just for our listeners to get to know you a little bit better, that's why we have you on the set today. Professor Stowell has her Juris Doctorate from Stetson University College of Law and an MBA, which was a joint program you were telling me from Stetson University. So welcome to the show.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yay, we're so excited.
Nikki, for our students to get to know you a little better, we have a series of 6 questions. No pressure. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask them. So one word you would use to describe yourself.
Kind.
Aww.
What's one thing that motivates you?
My family.
What's one way that you relieve stress?
I run.
Woo, love that. Favorite job you've ever had?
Oh, this one, for sure, without a doubt.
If you could have a different profession than your current role, what would it be?
Ooh, I don't know because I've never, this is just the best job ever. Maybe just a teacher in high school or elementary? I don't know.
She's an educator through and through.
I am.
What is one way that you inspire kindness in the world?
By being kind myself and hopefully showing that for other people and they'll reciprocate that kindness.
Love it. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
I appreciate that you run. We need to connect on that avenue. I'm looking, but I'm slow.
Oh, I am too.
Slow down. Okay, good. We'll just turtle kind of jog.
Yo, that's my favorite.
All right,
yes.
that's it. But it is a great stress reliever.
It is. It absolutely is. It's the first thing I do. Well, not the first thing, but after I get my kids off to school, I go for my morning run and I don't listen to any music. I just go.
It's hardcore.
Yes.
But then you notice your surroundings.
I do.
Kind of get a feel.
Birds
in tune
chirping.
with your thoughts.
Yes. And
like reflective.
And I can plan the day, what I need to do and what my priorities are. So
Maybe we'll do a podcast on running next. But yeah, I've problem solved during those times. It's funny.
It is.
Anyway,
yes.
We appreciate you playing. Now we want to get down to business and again, let our students get to know you a little bit more. Even us get to know you. I see you in the halls all the time. You're one of the easy professors that I am able to communicate with, ask questions about classes, things like that. And we want students to kind of be able to build that same type of rapport. Would you share about your journey from lawyer to USF?
Sure, absolutely. So I, as you said, went to Stetson. And after I graduated, I went to work for a larger law firm, Carlton Fields. And I was there for a little while. I loved the work, but it's very intense hour-wise, time-wise. And I got married while I was there. So I was approached by a family friend who had a small practice. So I transitioned to the smaller practice. Mm-hmm. And while I was there practicing, I just didn't feel that I was with my calling, what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So a professor here at USF St. Pete was one of my professors at Stetson teaching estate tax. And so I reconnected with him and said, if you ever hear of an opening for business law position, let me know. Mm-hmm. It just happened to be that the position was coming open. And so I interviewed and was given the opportunity to come join USF St. Pete and haven't looked back. And August will be my 20th year here. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, no, that's kismet. Totally.
Yep.
Love it.
And networking, right? We always tell our students about networking. And to me, that's a perfect real life example of what networking looks like.
Absolutely. I am a strong believer in networking, and you just never know where those connections are going to take you in life. And so I think that's a very valuable skill for students to have, to be able to network and talk to people and listen.
Yeah. We may get into this with another question too, but I'm curious, what type of law did you practice, or was it different between the two firms?
It was a little bit. I started off with the larger law firms. You typically specialize in an area. And I had worked for a real estate appraisal company in high school and in summers. And so I had a bit of a real estate background. And so I went and worked in real estate at Carlton Fields. So if you're familiar with downtown St. Pete, we represented the family who sold the property to Park Shore. Girl.
Yeah.
It was Baywalk back when I was working on the project, now Sundial. But my main area was up in Jacksonville. It's called a Bartram Park, and so it's a development up there.
Okay.
Then when I went to the smaller law firm, DeVito and Hyam, I got to expand my practice a little bit. So their main client was the Diocese of St. Petersburg. And so I did a lot of contract review for them. I became a certified loan closer for the Small Business Administration, landlord tenant. I also got into estate planning, so wills, trust. If I had to go back and practice, that's the area I think I would practice in.
Yeah.
It was really satisfying and gratifying to help people with their plans. And so I really enjoyed that.
Kind of some of those tumultuous times too.
Yes,
in life.
right. And they always left the office saying, "Oh, I'm glad I got that done."
Yeah.
And so I did get to expand. So a lot of business. I'm what you call a transactional attorney.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is great. Nikki, so as we come back to this piece of you happen to reach back out to a former professor, it makes me think often what we see and talk to our students a lot about is how important it is to get to know your faculty. We have scholarships where students will come back and they'll ask for a letter of recommendation or they need a faculty recommendation. What is one thing that you enjoyed talking about that would make it really easy for a student to come up to you and strike up a conversation?
Oh, I am open to whatever they would like to talk about. I often have students come up with legal issues or they've been pondering a question, and so they ask me that. Just really, how was your weekend? What did you do?
And running now.
Yeah, yes. And I, with 2 kids, I have a lot of family activities. So I'll run into students at restaurants. And so then a couple of weeks ago, I ran into a student at a restaurant after my son's baseball game. And, he came up and said, well, did you guys enjoy eating out? Did you, have a nice weekend? So I just like to get to know students. They all have such unique backgrounds. And I love hearing just in general how people got to where they are. And so just getting to know them on any level.
I love that.
And that's part of our whole kind of faculty spotlight today is to help students feel like they can make a connection with you because, as Ashley was prefacing, we do offer a lot of scholarships and they'll need a faculty recommendation. And so you might be a great resource then for students. Everybody has to take business law if you're a business major. And so why not kick off your faculty connections?
Absolutely. I do a lot of letters of recommendations for law school as well.
Ooh, okay.
And so reaching out to me, I prefer getting to know the students because otherwise then I'm just writing a generic letter of recommendation and I don't feel that that's giving them justice for their application. So I'm more than happy when students reach out saying, I am, can you help me with this letter of recommendation? Hop on a Teams call for a few minutes and just, let me know about yourself. Or if you're in my face-to-face, come up and chat with me a little bit. So I definitely, that would be my suggestion is if a student does want a letter of recommendation in the future, get to know at least one faculty member. And we're all pretty approachable. We love our students.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like you're very approachable. I think a lot of our faculty are very approachable. I think sometimes, and this is a good reminder that, we are all people. I feel like sometimes our students look at us like, oh, you're standing up at the front of the classroom, you're in this position of authority, and it becomes more intimidating than it actually is. And to just remember that, we all have lives. You have a family. We're human beings just like they are. And we've been through school in their same positions at one point or another.
Absolutely. And I think we all I know I do want them to be successful. I want them to be successful human beings. And I'm one of their journeys in that. And I actually just told my class yesterday, I said, boy, we don't have too much longer this semester. It's going by fast. And I said, I'm just one stop along your educational journey. But I don't take that one stop lightly.
Yeah. I just keep thinking about all the people we've had on the podcast, the dean, Priya Dozier, who's teaching some of our FinTech, and then now you, I can't even name all the other faculty. I mean, but each person that's coming on is willing to meet with students outside of the classroom. Like you said, make a Teams call. It's super simple these days.
It is.
So it's not like you really do have to make a
Yes.
trek to campus,
Correct.
but
yes.
you do want to start making that introduction and not wait until the end of the class and you never really spoke to the professor and then be like, I would like a recommendation.
Absolutely.
You know, get to
Yes.
know them.
Yes.
And let them get to know you.
Yes.
And like you said, you're going to have intersections
Yeah.
with your lives. And then I think it's kind of nice that you also have that background with the MBA to offer students that may be looking at graduate programs or school. And again, another letter or help with drafting their,
Mhm.
what do you call that, statement of purpose
Yep.
type of thing, or just even some direction. Like, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? Or how was your experience? And you've got some real life to bring to that.
Absolutely. And I actually, in my email inbox right now, I have a personal statement draft from a former student who is asking me to help her with her personal statement for her law school applications.
Okay.
So I'm always willing to help out however I can. And definitely, again, just want to make our students very successful.
Hey, do you hear that? Success. We've all got that in mind. All right.
Yes.
We want to take a little, I don't know, pivot.
Okay.
In the sense of AI. Talk a little bit about AI. I know that's something that you've been getting into a little bit more and more. We're all using it personally. In a sense, I feel like we're a little bit behind professionally incorporating AI, but it's coming along. What's been your exposure? And do you have, what was my real question? Like, in the classroom, how are you utilizing it if you are, that type of thing?
So right now, I'm really focusing on using AI for course development.
Okay.
And so it's been extremely helpful in creating assignments, for example. I can't say I'm the most creative person. And so AI has just really opened that door for me.
Mhm.
I actually did with my undergrad course, we were wrapping up the contracts section, and I wanted an assignment to pull all the contracts information together. So I knew that there were some clips out there, TV clips that I could use. And so I asked ChatGPT, I said, give me a few TV clips that I can use to discuss contract law with my undergrad class. So it gave me a list of quite a few. I went through, took a look at them. I decided on a clip from The Office where Michael Scott promises his third graders that if they graduate high school, he will pay for their college tuition. So when all those years go by, he never tells them that he's not going to be able to do that. So here they are, seniors in high school. They have this big celebration when he comes onto campus, and he has to tell them, of course, that he's not going to pay for their college education.
Oh, man.
So it brings out so many contract issues, offer, acceptance. They relied on it, promissory estoppel, they're minors. And so we had a wonderful discussion
Oh, yeah.
on the elements of contract law just based on that 5-minute clip.
Mhm.
And so ChatGPT, again, kind of was creative for me in finding the clip, and then I was able to take it into the classroom and use it for a discussion and hopefully some chuckles, some laughs.
I don't know if I saw that episode. Now I'm like, darn it, last night's was rerun. What were you going to say, Ash?
No, Nikki, I'm curious because I also sat in on one of your workshops where you talk about not just curriculum, but actually how you're prompting the AI. And I'm curious, can you share with us maybe some tips that you have found to have good AI prompts?
So that's the key. And it does take some work to learn how to prompt. So if you can be very specific. So for instance, in my contracts example, I said I would like to have a TV clip that highlights the elements of contract law for my undergraduate business law course. And so that prompt, again, gave me some clips. So it's more specific that you can be with the prompting, the better. So you really have to, and you really have to sit down and think, what do I want from this? So what am I asking chat? What do I want my deliverable to be?
Mhm.
What do I want it to produce? So I was just talking with another faculty member before this, and he's doing some focus groups and asked me, how can I use ChatGPT or Copilot to take the transcripts from these focus groups and get the highlights.
Right.
And so I said, well, you have to sit down and think, okay, what do I want from this this conversation? What do I want the summary to be? What's the purpose? And so I think that's where you have to kind of take a step back and think exactly what you want from the outcome.
Yeah, be very precise and
Yes.
careful with that part.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was thinking about Amazon reviews now, how they use AI to do a summary of all these thousands of reviews, which is useful. But still, what were you going to say?
So I also use AI this semester to create a syllabus of frequently asked questions.
Ooh.
And this has been wonderful.
Yeah.
So I put my syllabus without my information and without the dates into ChatGPT. I created a custom bot, and it's BUL 3320, frequently asked questions. And so if the students have a question about the course, they type it in and the bot answers their questions. And so
Brilliant.
that's been super helpful for me
Yeah.
and I think for the students as well. So trying to incorporate some different ideas. My next goal, now that I feel like I've gotten down some of the prompting, some of the course development, is to now see how I can put it into the classroom more, because I think it's so important for our students to learn how to use the AI, because I feel our employers are going to want that.
So Nikki, as you're talking about, you mentioned your business law course. One of the things we think of for students who might be intimidated by the thought of taking that course, what's one tip that you would offer to students?
I would say if you're in the face-to-face class, go to class. I think that makes a huge difference. I think the law is intimidating or maybe boring to students. I try and make it as fun as possible. I think I'm biased. I think business law is probably one of the most important courses they take as an undergrad. It's quite likely in your personal or professional life that you are going to somehow be touched by the law.
Yes.
And I tell my students that this course is geared to hopefully help you learn some legalese, so that if you're a president of a company, you can talk to lawyers. You know some of the verbiage. You know how the system works. And so I wouldn't be intimidated by it. I would embrace it and really say, this is going to benefit me both personally and professionally.
Yeah. For me, that's why I get excited about that sort of course, is because you are learning things that are, you're removed from the theory, and it becomes very tangible to see the real world life application.
Absolutely. And again, the likelihood of, our business students that will be with lawyers or have to talk to lawyers is extremely high. Or if they
in this day and age.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And even if they want to start their own business, what entity do they want to use? And so they can get that information from the course.
Yeah. I wish my business law would have been more exciting, because I was looking forward to it in the sense of learning more for myself personally too, because it is an aspect that this is probably one of the most applicable, useful courses that you're going to take. I mean, besides some of the financial accounting,
Sure, yes.
specific to those majors. And for accounting, of course, the ones that I work with closely, going into the CPA exam and things like that. I mean, we're always recommending the next business law class.
Absolutely. I say to my accounting students, this is important for you guys to know. So sometimes I will specifically go into some legal/accounting issues.
Scenarios.
Yeah. Yep.
And that is, just so students are aware, there is a part 2 if they wanted, right?
Yes, there is law and business too. And for students who are interested in the legal studies minor, so we have the legal studies minor as well, they take the law and business 1 and then law and business 2. Those are just the 2 required courses.
Easy.
So yes.
Easy peasy.
And then we have quite a few electives that they can take for the legal studies minor.
Awesome. We can easy add that on.
Yes.
Okay. Do you mind if I take
Yeah, go
yours
for it.
then and you get, okay. What do you enjoy most about teaching?
I enjoy the interaction with the students. I enjoy in the classroom just seeing the questions that they ask and how they're making connections with the material to what is going on in their lives, what's going on in the world. And so I just love that conversation that we have and the questions that they ask. It's just so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
I love teaching. I love being a part of. I remember as an undergrad and in law school, just the satisfaction of finishing a course, and that degree is something that no one can take away from you.
That's what I tell students,
Yes.
right? This is, anyway, it's more than a piece of paper.
It is, absolutely. You have worked hard for that, and it's just so satisfying. When I go to graduation, I just love seeing students. They're just so happy, and I know they worked hard to achieve their goals,
to
and
that
I'm
point.
part of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Forever apart. Oh, I had a follow-up. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember something. Okay.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like I was saying before, I just love your passion, and I think that comes across in the classroom, and it just makes the material so much more digestible. And again, as we talked about earlier, networking, meeting you, seeing you outside of the classroom, those types of things. When faculty really enjoy what they teach, enjoy what they do, and have an expertise in the field, there's so much that it's a nice symbiotic relationship with students.
It is.
So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Oh, no.
I think students may not always realize other work that you do because they see you in the classroom, but a part of the work that you're doing is research.
Yes.
And for me, I got really excited when we were looking at your research publications. Can you share with us some of your favorite projects that you've worked on, either in the past or maybe something that you're working on now?
So some colleagues and I have really honed in on the fraud areas. And so we do a lot of publication research, hopefully to educate people on the different types of fraud that are out there. One piece in particular we had published was on COVID fraud against the elderly. And it was just so eye-opening, just the amount of fraud that was committed against the elderly during that time period, taking advantage of the isolation and just
the loneliness.
Yes.
Oh.
And selling kits that would cure COVID and even pets. So there was a pet scam that was going on.
Oh, wow.
Where elderly people were trying to get a pet to come break the loneliness, and people would scam them out of money and say, oh, to get the dog to you, you have to pay extra. So that was a piece I thought that was hopefully impactful, and that maybe people will take notice of, that if something were to happen again, we need to really protect our elderly. So that's really kind of, it's becoming a passion project of mine. I actually hope to do a kind of a workshop maybe in the fall for some community members here on geared towards our older population and how they can protect themselves from fraud. I know having a mother who's aging and has been succumbed to some of the phone frauds. She and I, for instance, came up with a password that we have to say. So I'm always fearful that because my voice is out there, given what I do, that someone now can take that and would call her and try and scam her out of money. So we've created a question that she needs to ask the caller, and that caller needs to answer it properly to know that it's me.
Yeah.
So the frauds are kind of my focus. I enjoy working with colleagues. There's a group of us that publish on a regular basis. I've been working with Professor Schmidt for years and years on publications. She and I are also very passionate about innovative education. So we've had some publications, presentations on specifically how to enhance your business courses, things along those lines.
Nice.
Wonderful. And for students, and I come back to one of the first questions we asked you of, like, how do students connect? I think connecting with faculty on research is a really great way, right? If I know, and I'm in one of your classes, that you are passionate about elder care and making sure that you're making people aware of fraud going on. That to me seems like a good conversation. So my question to you is, if students are interested in reading your publications and your research, what is the best way for them to access that?
Probably through the USF library, or they can certainly come and ask me. Some of the law journals I have multiple copies of in my office, so I'm happy to give those out. And I'm happy to work with students. We actually have a publication or an article that's under review with some top law journals right now. And one of the authors is a former student, and he is now in his first year at Stetson, and he is number 3 in his class.
Wow.
And so we've done some other publications with students. And so we are always, again, the group that I typically work with, always happy to have students join us. So if anyone's interested in, doing publications, definitely reach out.
Love that. Thank you.
I think we're about to let you off the hook. All right. This has been awesome to have you sit down with us. Hopefully students definitely have a feel for who you are, what you're passionate about, and can look forward, if they have not had business law yet, at the undergraduate and then the graduate within the MBA program. So if students want to reach out or connect, what's the best way?
Probably email or send me a message through Teams, but email's a little bit better because I can just manage those a little bit
Right.
better, or stop by my office. I'm in LPH 316G, sort of in the corner. It's kind of, students are always like, wow, I didn't know this wing existed. So happy to have students connect and stop by.
Yeah, there are 4 floors in LPH, by the
Yes.
way. Anyway, all right, that is a wrap for Getting Down to Business. Thanks for listening, tuning in. Follow us. You can find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. We'll see you next time.